He's saying, look, look, look. Look at Brown Monkey now. He's saying, wow.
Effective introductions enable struggling readers to approach text with confidence and get a head start on comprehension. In this portion of the training program, you'll see teachers demonstrate several different ways to launch students into text, using full book introductions, debugging strategies, and comprehension strategy reminders.
Little Chimp and Baby Chimp. So let's take a look right here. There are a number of things that we can do in small group interventions to help kids with comprehension, which is the big picture of all. One of the things that we can do is to scaffold a new book for children. Here's Baby Chimp saying, "Where's Mother Chimp?" And Big Chimp said, "She went to the forest." Just as in anything else, we can do this in a gradual way according to what the children's needs are. So the most struggling kids, the emergent kids, we're going to go through that book page by page. And then all of a sudden, Mother Chimp came back, but with a surprise. Can you see what that surprise is?
It's a baby.
Baby Chimp. Yeah. Making sure they understand, making sure they know what's happening in the pictures, so that that meaning will drive what the words will be in that.
Today our book is called Monkey Fun. Today our book is going to be about a tan monkey and a brown monkey who take turns trying to do harder things and showing off. Now remember, when we read, we're going to look at the pictures to think about what they're doing and thinking in the story.
A full book introduction focuses students on pictures and text in ways that are specific to understanding that particular story.
Look at the movement marks to show that he is hanging. And look at Tan Monkey. He's thinking, I can do something harder than that.
The majority of prompts direct students to key ideas. For this story, understanding the monkeys are trying to outdo each other is important.
Look, 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 and he is swinging.
Occasionally, the teacher might think aloud or pose a question about what might happen next.
Look at Brown Monkey now. He's saying, wow. I wonder what he's going to do to outdo this monkey now.
The goal is to maintain a pace that keeps students engaged with the storyline and provide sufficient background information to enhance their comprehension when they read the book on their own.
Look at the bird. He's pointing.
Especially for fictional text, stopping at just the right moment will entice students to want to read to find out what happens.
Why is Brown Monkey climbing?
From the alligator.
The alligator. Let's read Monkey Fun and see what happens when we read.
Today we're going to be reading a new book. And in this book we have a little girl named Meg. And Meg has a pet named Hugs. She has a pet cat. Do y'all have any pets? Chase, do you have a pet? What kind of pet do you have?
A dog.
You have a dog. Have you ever had any problems with your dogs?
Yeah.
What do they do?
Introductions may include asking students to share their own background experiences, when it will enhance their understanding of key concepts in the text.
Trey, do you have any pets?
Yeah.
What pets do you have?
Dogs.
Dogs. Do they make messes too, like Chase's?
They get in the trash can and run around everywhere.
They do.
Here, briefly discussing pet ownership problems sets the stage for the story.
Oh, so you have a cat like Meg has a cat. Well, in this story, it's called Up in a Tree, okay? And somebody is going to be up in a tree. Who do you think it would be?
The cat.
Oh, you think it's going to be the cat. All right, well, let's think about our characters' names for a minute, because you know names are always tricky for us in our stories.
We always want to tell them the title because that gives them some insight as to what the book is about. And then we want to give a summary statement, big picture. This book is about, and this little girl's name is, because names throw kids for a loop, so we want to put that in there.
Now, go ahead and open up the book, and you're going to see Meg and Hugs on that first page. Okay? Run your finger under their names and make sure that you can see their names and you get a good look at that. Meg and Hugs. Good. All right. Now, turn to page 2 and 3. Okay. Look at the picture. What do you notice in the picture?
The cat's stuck in the tree.
The cat's up in the tree. What do you think that Meg is saying to Hugs?
Get down.
She's saying, come down, Hugs. But does it look like Hugs wants to come down?
Effective questions draw students into the story and keep them focused on the plot.
Chase, what do you see happening in the picture?
She's holding the mouse to the tree.
Well, she's holding the mouse to the tree. Yeah, she wants Hugs to come and get his toy.
The teacher clarifies the mouse as a toy and continues with the introduction, instead of asking students to make inferences.
He did not want his toy. He did not come down, did he?
If students are asked to make too many predictions or inferences before they started reading the text, they may go off book and lose the meaning of the story as the author intended.
She's trying a lot of different things to get Hugs to come down out of the tree. Do you think Hugs is going to come down, Trey? No.
So for the most struggling readers and the emergent readers, we want to do a very full book introduction. As children get more proficient, we can drop back a bit and just give a more minimal introduction to meet the needs of those individual children.
Do you remember last week when we read the book Snowflake Bentley?
Yes.
You remember he was a character that was very determined?
Bookends is a simple book introduction strategy to help students think about a new book in relation to a previous text.
What do you remember, Jessie?
Well, I remember that he's kind of like an expert of snowflakes.
Highlighting a common link between stories, such as a similar plot or setting, or a shared character trait, helps students connect what they know to new text.
He was persistent, wasn't he? He was determined. Well, today we have another book about where the characters are determined. The little girl is determined and the little dog is determined. It's about Pickles, a 1-year-old dog. He belongs to Nina, and Nina wants to put him in a dog show.
The bookend strategy can easily be combined with other book introduction techniques as needed.
All right, we're going to turn back to the beginning, and we're going to find out if Hugs comes down out of that tree.
For struggling readers, full book introductions are evenly paced and briefly draw attention to important concepts and story elements that will enhance their comprehension. Introductions will vary based on students' reading proficiency.
Okay, a couple of things I want you to look at. I want you to look on page 8.
Another thing that we do is to debug a book by looking through it carefully through a child's eyes and thinking, what words might they stumble on? Or what concepts, if they don't have background knowledge on certain things, we might need to front load a bit more.
I want you to follow along as I read this sentence. My snowman looks like a giant, he said. Notice that word giant. It starts with a G. And a lot of times when we see G, we think G, right? But in this case, this is a soft G.
Teachers debug vocabulary by focusing on a few words that may challenge students' comprehension.
Why would Charlie say his snowman looks like a giant? Because it's big. And when we hear the word giant, we think big, right?
And then read a sentence with that in because it will pretty much define what that word is in the context of the book.
The last sentence on page 10. You know what word I'm talking about, don't you, Pablo? You read my mind. The sentence said, Fluffy was very disappointed. Disappointed. What does it mean when someone's disappointed?
Like kind of angry.
They're angry. Sometimes people
Kind of aggravated.
kind of aggravated, maybe kind of sad. If you're disappointed, did things turn out the way you wanted them to? No.
For more difficult words or concepts, teachers may want to lead students in a short discussion.
What do you think might be going on that would disappoint Fluffy?
It's not as big as Charlie's.
It's not as big as Charlie's. You're right, I do see 2 snowmen there. What else might happen, Dylan?
If needed, teachers clarify students' understanding to maintain a focus on meaning.
Well, I'll tell you, it has to do with the size of the snowman. You know, Charlie said the snowman looked like a giant. Fluffy decided one more snowball on the snowman.
Now, I want you to say the word come. 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 What sound do you hear at the beginning of come?
C.
What sound do you hear? You hear k. What letter would you see?
A C.
A C. Everybody find the word come and frame it with your fingers, please.
Teachers take into account students' reading level and difficulty of the text to decide which words to debug.
Today we're going to read a book that's very, very different. It's called Can You See an Insect? And it's set up a lot differently from most of the books that you're used to reading. I want you to flip to the back.
Debugging text structure is another strategic way to introduce new books to struggling readers.
What do you notice there?
So bug.
You see what?
I can see a leaf.
You see a leaf. Do you see anything else?
It's a bug.
You see a bug. Now look at the caption that goes with that picture. What does it say, Dylan? Dylan Wayne.
Can you see an insect hiding here?
Can you see an insect hiding here?
Pointing out text structures and highlighting unfamiliar text features before students read may lessen their frustration and pave the way to a more positive experience.
You notice it's going to tell us a little bit about the picture, and then there's a question. Put your finger on the last sentence on that page. The question says, can you see an insect hiding here? It's going to say that over and over. When you turn the page, the same picture will be there, but the focus will be a little different, and hopefully you'll be able to see what the insect is that's there.
We want struggling readers to be able to enjoy their books.
It's very important to pre-read the book and debug it to realize what might be stumbling blocks for kids.
I got to tell you a little bit about this book. It's unusual because it has a table of contents, and the first part is all about lions. The second part is all about tigers.
In addition to text structure, teachers will also want to direct students' attention to key text features that aid comprehension.
Your author did you another favor, so point to the bold word. So telling kids that we emphasize words more, and in their books they have boldface print, and some kids just slide over those words. So having them understand your author is giving you a signal here. There's one more thing, and this is fun. At the bottom of your page, this author really has had some fun with this book, because do you see the yellow right here? Here's her question. Why are lions hard to see in dry grass? And when you turn the page in yellow, it says lions are hard to see because they are the same color as dry grass.
Quickly debugging vocabulary or challenging text structures is an effective way to introduce struggling readers to new books.
Okay, go ahead and start reading. It's not giving away everything. It's giving kids something to hook onto, and they don't have to struggle as they normally do.
We're not going to open the book, but we're going to keep it closed because there's all kinds of information locked in about the new kid.
Comprehension strategy reminders provide a third way to launch students into text.
I see her face. Can you see her expression on her face?
Yeah.
And I see a moving van taking her somewhere. So let's make inferences about what we think might happen in this story.
Reviewing a strategy before students read encourages them to apply grade-level skills to text at their reading level.
You know, we have thinking stems for inferring. My guess is maybe, perhaps, it could be that. Use your maybe stem. What are you thinking?
I think that maybe she's a little sad because she's going to miss all of her friends.
Miss her?
Here, the teacher reviews thinking stems to prompt students to make inferences, a critical comprehension skill.
Okay, we've all said that she's sad. Everybody agrees that she's sad, right? We've made that inference. She's sad because she's leaving friends or she's nervous. We're thinking she may be nervous about going to a new school.
When we are reading and we get stuck, which happens,
Student-friendly charts provide visual reminders of strategies that will enhance students' comprehension as they read.
when we read, we don't just want to read the words and then forget about it. We want to read, we want to be able to remember what we read, and we want to be able to tell about it.
For multi-step comprehension strategies, teacher modeling will help students apply the strategy to their own text.
To read, then I'm going to have you cover what you read. You're going to remember, you're going to have to think about what you read, and then you're going to tell me. I'm going to show you how I would do this. I'm on pages 6 and 7, which I see you're there too, and it says, "A grasshopper is hiding here."
As text becomes more complex, breaking it into meaningful chunks is an effective way to enhance comprehension.
Now I'm going to cover. Notice how I'm covering? I'm going to think about what I read, I remember, and then I'll retell.
This strategy helps students self-monitor their understanding of what they've read and know when to go on.
Then I guess I could uncover to see if I remembered. If I didn't, would I need to go on?
No.
No. Now sometimes when you do this, I realize you may need to take a sneak peek, but I'm going to let you try this. So turn the page.
Engaging students in a brief guided practice session will help solidify their understanding and use of strategies as they read.
All right, guys, we're going to do an activity today.
Using tangible objects to make higher-level comprehension concrete is an effective way to begin a small group intervention.
And I've got my bag here, and I've got a whole lot of stuff in it, but I don't want to take this whole bag to the gym. It'd be too hard to carry everything, wouldn't it? Okay, so I'm going to pull out what I have. Let's see what all I have in here. I have a flashlight, a water bottle.
This activity is designed to help students better understand the concept of determining importance.
Newspaper. My car keys. My card to be able to get into the gym.
The teacher has strategically selected items for students to consider.
A rubber duck. And a car. Okay? Now, why don't you turn and talk to your partner and talk about what is the most important? What do I need to go to the gym today?
With the purpose of going to the gym in mind, students are eager to discuss which objects are important.
He needs the water bottle.
Okay, so I need my membership. Okay.
We want to look at it through a child's eyes and make it be from their eyes instead of the teacher eyes. So having a concrete object is so important for kids, a clue for them to understand.
Oh, why would I need my car keys?
Because you need to leave.
I've got to drive to get there. Yeah, you're right. You're right. So now, guys, this is just like when we read. You guys know it? When we read, there's all kinds of stuff that the book tells us. And is it all important?
Always taking it back to the text and having them see it and how it would work in books is the goal of all of these strategies.
These are what you're going to think about as you read your books, okay? And it'll help us try to remember what is the most important that we need to think about.
We're getting to those higher levels, but supporting and scaffolding along the way so kids have an idea of what we are talking about when we do that.
So I'm going to let you guys start reading for a little bit, and I want you to think about these thinking stems as you read, okay? And then I'm going to get you to tell me some of the things that are important in your book.
The whole goal of reading is understanding. So whatever we can do, that's going to be a huge thing for them to really bridge those gaps, make them not struggling readers any longer.
So we want to be able to read.
When teachers quickly review comprehension strategies, walk students through the text, or debug any potential difficulties, they give struggling readers a much-needed head start on comprehension.